just about 50 minutes after the hour on a Wednesday. So you know what that means. It is time for our weekly Altus Healthcare update here on the Michael Garfield program. We'll return to regular programming on the other side of the hour. But every week around this time, we have a great doctor in from Altus Healthcare. They talk about things that affect you, things that affect your family, how to prevent some things. And, you know, it's just wonderful for the years and years and years we've been doing this on my show. We've learned so much. I get emails from people going, oh, Michael, without that interview from the doctor, I didn't know if I was going to be able to live. And so thank me. I am the one keeping people alive. Along with this next doctor that we're very, very happy to have associated with Altus. His name is Dr. Micah Monaghan. Now, I pronounced that right. It looks like Monahan, but you're from Mississippi, aren't you, doctor?
You got that right. You even said Mississippi right.
Yeah, so it's Mississippi.
drop the extra syllable.
And actually, you're from Tupelo. I've heard of somebody from there also.
That's correct. I jokingly tell people that it's the home of the king, and Elvis is from there too.
Very nice. Yeah. We're talking to the King Dr. Micah Monaghan right now here from Altus. We're going to talk about advances in cancer care. Very serious topic, and we'll make sure that we give away websites and phone numbers in a few minutes after we've discussed. You're a board-certified radiation oncologist. What exactly is radiation oncology, and how is radiation used in cancer treatment versus chemotherapy today?
Well, it's certainly a big word that can be intimidating, but and unless you or your family's been affected by cancer, it may not be a field of medicine with which you're familiar, but it's basically just a form of cancer treatment that uses radiation, and most typically that's just X-rays that are used to treat tumors. One way you would distinguish it perhaps from chemotherapy is it's more of a local regional therapy, which is a way of saying it treats where there's a known tumor and then the adjacent areas where an unseen tumor cell may be hiding. With chemotherapy, you may know that whether a pill or IV form, it's a treatment that goes wherever the bloodstream carries it. And that can affect your entire body, both for good and possibly for bad. Radiation will be more akin to surgery than chemotherapy in many ways, in that the good and bad of radiation tends to only affect where we aim it. Just like surgery, if you had surgery on your leg, typically your arm wouldn't have any effect, good or bad.
Cancer of any type, doctor, it's a scary diagnosis for anyone to receive. What are some of the recent advances in cancer care that people should be aware of?
Yeah, I would say generically the most important advances being made for the patient with cancer is actually making treatments less toxic. You mentioned fear, and the biggest fear of any new diagnosis of cancer will always remain prognosis, or what are my chances of a good outcome. But I would say a very close second that many patients have is how sick will I be, or is the treatment worse than the disease itself? And for example, with chemotherapy, the drugs that are used to treat the side effects of chemotherapy have improved dramatically, and nearly all patients are now treated as an outpatient. Most drive themselves, and many are able to continue to work. And in chemotherapy in particular, most of the new important discoveries we're seeing are actually targeted drugs, where they're able to find drugs that select as much as possible the tumor cells alone and not the cells of your normal body. And in radiation oncology, my particular field, technology has been really the greatest advance. X-rays are still X-rays, but with technology, we're able to image the tumor and normal organs better, and we're also able to shape the radiation to give less dose to the normal structures. And if you don't treat the normal structures, you can get less side effects. And another thing that we're seeing, as many people are aware, we're having much more success with many tumor types. When we're able to achieve high cure rates with certain tumors, we can actually give less treatment overall. So less radiation or less chemotherapy with the same cure rates would mean less long-term side effects. And then technology has also given us the ability to increase radiation dose and without increasing side effects in those tumors where we haven't had the success we wanted to historically.
I like that. Throwing a little high-tech Texan in here on the Altus Health Update. It's Dr. Micah Monaghan. There has been a lot of discussion recently about cancer screenings, colon, prostate, breast, lung, skin, and how effective they are. There's probably some confusion out there about them. Any guidelines you'd offer listeners about which are needed?
And I will warn you in advance, this is a very loaded question, and it is definitely in the news right now. And I would say most of what's made the news is the new guidelines from a variety of sources, one being the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force, and they're currently recommending less frequent screening or recommending that you wait later in life to start your screenings. Say, for example, for mammogram, they've recommended to wait instead of starting at 40, to start until 50. Or some say you should stop screening. Say your PSA, they may recommend that you stop doing any PSA screening at, say, 70 to 75 years of age, depending on the guideline. And one of the reasons for this, just to explain to patients, is they're trying to decrease the cost of health care, which we see in the news. And also, anytime you have an abnormal screening test, that often leads to an additional test, which may or may not have side effects for the patient. And then they also are trying to, in their minds, protect patients from the fear that comes with having a positive screening test and fear of cancer. And these task forces, they do have some science and statistics that support their view. And what you have seen, though, in the news as well is many of the specialty societies, such as the American Urological Association as regards to PSA, or the American College of Radiology as it pertains to mammography, or the groups that my field's in, the ASTRO is the acronym for that, oftentimes disagree with that because they've seen tumors caught earlier and greater success with outcomes. And then the other thing that makes this such a charged topic is many cancer survivors who had their cancers caught early and have had good outcomes and cures have very strong personal convictions on the importance of screening. And both sides are right. I would say the most important answer I'd want any patient to know, and it'll sound like I'm dodging your question, but I'm really not, is to speak to your own doctor about your personal risk. We do know that family history of cancer, certain personal medical problems you have may predispose you to a cancer down the road. Habits such as smoking or even your race or ethnicity may put you at a personal risk of cancer that's different from the general population. So I would say in all of healthcare, each individual needs to take responsibility for their own health. And you may need to ask your doctor, doctor, do I need to start mammogram? Or perhaps you need to say, do I really need PSA given my age and condition? So I would say take responsibility, and at your next appointment, just ask your doctor.
All right, one more question, Dr. Monaghan, and we'll get you out of here on this. You and your colleagues at the Cancer Center at Southeast Texas, you work very closely with the staff of the Altus Cancer Center down in Baytown. Can you tell us what makes receiving care there so special?
I'm sorry, I had a little trouble hearing you there.
Your colleagues at the Cancer Center of Southeast Texas work closely with the staff at the Altus Cancer Center in Baytown. Can you tell us what makes receiving care there so special?
Well, sure. Certainly all of our physicians here are board certified by the American Board of Radiology, and we have modern CT simulator and a PET CT scan on site and an MRI on site, and we're capable of doing the fancy radiation treatments, things you may have heard about like IMRT and image guidance. And you'll laugh, but one of the things that many of the patients' greatest excitement is that we have easy parking, and people that have dealt with hospitals.
Don't laugh. You have to take that into account. Sure.
Yeah. Certainly many of our patients are of advanced age or ill, and so they like that. But really what I would say is none of any of my credentials or my partners or a building matters. What matters is patients feeling that whoever's taking care of them cares. And we have a small but very dedicated staff, and a lot of people say this, but truly there's a personal relationship that's built. One thing that's unique about radiation therapy is that the usual patient comes 5 days a week for on average of 5 weeks. So you really have that daily contact and close personal care, and our staff's greatest asset is really engaging the patient and really making them know that they're cared for and checked on daily throughout this treatment that can be so confusing.
Dr. Micah Monaghan joining us here at the Altus Health Update. If anybody wants information, how about the website and phone number, Doctor?
Sure. You can reach us at setexonc.com. And the best phone number, if you have questions, is 281-837-7600, 7600, and extension is 2241.
All that information is going to be on my website, my blog here at kprcradio.com. Dr. Monaghan, thank you so much. Shout out to the peeps in Mississippi. And I thank you very much for taking a few minutes on the phone with us.